Are you an empty nester or maybe approaching retirement and you found yourself with way too much stuff? What should I do? Where do I start? It can all be overwhelming. The unfortunate reality is nobody wants your stuff. Today's video is going to offer you some simple and easy tips to get you on the right path for decluttering. Unlike many of my videos, this one's not just for those people who are looking to sell their home. This video is for everyone who finds themselves with too much clutter. As a real estate agent for over 30 years, I know for sure that decluttering can be an emotional and logistical challenge. Let's first start by discussing why nobody wants your stuff. But before I do, make sure that every one of you puts on your big boy and big girl pants and panties. The reason people don't want your stuff is because it's yours. Let's keep it real. Your things are special to you, but most likely nobody else. The chances are that many of the items you have are considered somewhat dated in today's world. Some items may be a little worn and torn, or as I like to say, long in the tooth. The reality is the younger generations, I would say the ages 50 and below, don't want stuff anymore. Many of them look at personal clutter as not just being something that clutters their homes, but also clutters their minds. I've definitely seen a real movement over the last decade or so moving towards minimalism. When you think about it, the younger generations live much less formally than our generation and definitely the generation of our parents. They're no longer interested in the formal dining room tables. Heck, they no longer have fine china or multiple place settings. Today's home dining tends to be more at a kitchen island, breakfast bar, or small table with simplistic place settings. And think about this. The millennial and Gen Z generations no longer have record albums, CDs, or DVDs, and they certainly don't collect stamps or coins. Many of the things they collect, like movies, music, and photos, are either streamed or stored digitally, with absolutely zero house footprint. And I know it sounds sad, but if you think your kids want your stuff, they don't. The question that each one of us has to ask ourselves is, how did we get so much stuff? Many of us have lived in our homes 20, 30, 40 years or longer. We've accumulated a lot of crap, but not only have we accumulated our own stuff, we are the sandwich generation. We are smack dab in the middle between our kids who've flown the coop and our aging parents who've either downsized or passed away. How many of our kids have left items behind when they went off to college, only to find out that 5 to 10 years after they graduated, we still have their crap? And of course, we have our parents on the opposite side of the spectrum. Many of them have downsized significantly and were gracious enough to allow us to keep and store their treasures. Now, speaking with transparency, this is the exact position I found myself in 5 years ago. There's no question I had my own crap, but I also had a lot of my kids and a lot of my parents' things as well. Now that we figured out how we got here and why nobody wants our stuff, let's go through my 9 tips on successfully decluttering. And I have to tell you, number 8, you're probably going to be surprised by. Tip 1, start with a plan. The first question to ask yourself is, when do I need this completed by? How far out do I need to work backwards? And whatever that completion goal is, write it down. Either write it down on your physical calendar, or as I like to do, put it in my Google Calendar. The next question to ask yourself is, do I invest more time and do it myself? Or do I invest less time and a little bit of money into professionals who can help work and collaborate with me to get the job done and to streamline the process? There's no right or wrong when it comes to this, but this is where a little self-awareness is imperative. If you're the type who can write down a plan, stay motivated, and stick with it, then maybe doing it yourself is the right way to go. However, what I find is if you were that type of person, the chances are your house wouldn't be cluttered to begin with. But if you think you're that type of person who can stick with a plan, stay motivated, and stick to your deadline, then go knock yourself out. Now, if you plan to hire a service after meeting with them and talking about a realistic deadline, once again, write it down or put it into your Google Calendar and let's get started. Always remember, if a goal is not written down, it's just a dream. Number 2, and this is where I may be getting a little woo-woo and zen with you, but embrace the emotions. And what I mean by that is, it's natural to feel sentimental as you go through old belongings. Take the time to reminisce and honor the memories of You know me well, that's about as woo-woo zen as I'm going to get. So with all that being said, let's go to number 3. Tip number 3 is one of my personal favorites. Consider hiring a professional personal organizer to help you through the decluttering process. Personal organizers are skilled at creating efficient and organized spaces, and they can provide valuable guidance on how to sort through your belongings, decide what to keep, and develop a system for maintaining a clutter-free environment. And just like any coach or personal trainer, an organizer can help push you a little bit. And let's face it, real progress is only made when we're pushed to go slightly beyond our comfort zone. Now, while I'm talking about professionals, if you're considering downsizing or selling your home, a professional realtor in your area will have great insight on the do's and the don'ts of decluttering and preparing your home for sale. They will also have great connections on personal organizers, hauling services, and other vendors who may be able to help you in the decluttering process. While I sell homes in Montgomery County, Maryland, and Northern Virginia, I have a vast network of top real estate agents throughout the country. If you'd be interested in a referral to one of the top agents in your area, simply click on the referral link below in the description box. I will give you a call for a quick chat and to help you find the right realtor for you. Rest assured, there's no obligation and no strings attached. So do yourself a favor and click that form right below. Don't forget your phone number because I will be giving you a call. Tip number 4. Hire a hauling service. If you have large items in your home, like large furnitures, refrigerators, freezers, things like that, or just a lot of clutter, I highly recommend that you contact a hauling service. These are services that you have to pay for. However, these services typically provide the manpower and transportation to efficiently remove unwanted items. The hauling service alone will supercharge the decluttering process and will make your job much easier and streamlined. Locally, I refer my clients to a company called 123 Junk. And admittedly, I don't love the name of the company. When you hear the word junk, you just naturally assume that they're going to come take all your stuff and just dump it into a landfill. However, that's not the case. Most of these companies will first look at donating, then recycling, and lastly, disposing. On a personal side note, I helped my parents move out of their home 6 years ago, and I have to say, the process itself was daunting. It mostly fell on me after we helped them find the place that they were going to move, and there was a lot of stuff. Once again, there was about 50 years worth of things. Yeah, and some of them were my things, some of them were their parents' things, but a lot of them were their things. And while we got them, my parents moved out, moved in and everything, it was my responsibility to take care of everything from that point on. And of course, you know, we did offer some things to kids, family members who, as I've mentioned before, wanted very little, if any, of the stuff because nobody wants your junk. But hiring the service to haul was invaluable. To have them come and have 2 or 3 trucks, 8 to 10 people jump out in uniform and everything, and see the process that they went through in putting things towards donations, recycling, and then disposing, really was just incredible. And for them to leave 6 hours later and the house be empty, and I don't know, I want to say it may have costed $1,500, $2,000, was worth that in gold. So once again, when it comes to hauling services, you know what? Look them up on Yelp, look them up online to see what the reviews are. If they have good reviews, I would definitely say you ought to consider hiring one. It will make everything much more easy and streamlined. Now on to tip number 5, estate sales or auctions. This is where I'm going to be, once again, just brutally honest with you. Unless you have extremely valuable or luxury items, I do not find estate sales or auctions to be worth the time, aggravation, and effort. Typically, what I find is even with very valuable high-end furniture, this furniture oftentimes is fetching about 10 cents on the dollar. After auction fees and the hassle of setting it up and having strangers traipsing through your house, I rarely find them worth doing. Now let's move on to tip number 6, and this one is for more you do-it-yourselfers or maybe those of you who have a smaller project. I suggest purchasing 4 large Rubbermaid bins and label them keep, trash, donate, and recycle. Then start placing your items in the appropriate bins. Tip number 7, sell your items on Facebook Marketplace. Once again, this is one for more of you do-it-yourselfers. Personally, I've sold some items on Facebook Marketplace, but it's only really been one random item at a time, never multiple items at a time. I wouldn't even think of it. I've also only sold items on Facebook Marketplace that I could actually meet the people outside, where the item didn't require them coming into the home. Security, in my mind, is a big deal with this one. Now, with all that being said, I've had some of my clients swear by selling many items on Facebook Marketplace. But what I've been told is this can also have a tendency to become either a part-time, possibly even a full-time job based on the amount of things that you're looking to sell. And for all the clients I've had who swear by it, I've had just an equal amount who can't stand it. They can't stand getting stood up by people who say that they're going to show, and they also can't stand inviting a stranger into their home who wants to haggle. Personally, I'd rather give the items away than deal with the Facebook Marketplace haggler. Tip number 8, and this one may surprise you because this is not a tip of what to do. This is a tip for what not to do. Don't rent a storage unit. Once again, this may surprise you, but 9 times out of 10, renting a storage unit is not solving the problem. This is like taking air that's in a balloon and moving it from one side of the balloon to the other side. There's still the same amount of air. Even worse, moving your items into a storage unit can give you a false sense of accomplishment. And it can also give you an open invitation to start buying and bringing more crap into your house. Now, storage units do serve a purpose in some cases, but only if they're short term while moving from one home to another. Outside of that, I would not rent a storage unit. And lastly, tip number 9. Focus on the future. Remember, decluttering is a positive step in the new chapter of your life. Visualize the freedom and opportunities that come with a more streamlined lifestyle. Hey guys, if you live in Montgomery County, Maryland, or the greater DC area, and you'd like to talk with me one-on-one about decluttering or anything having to do with the real estate market, simply click on the Calendly link in the description box below and let's set it up. So decluttering can be a transformative journey by approaching it with a plan, emotional awareness, and a focus on the future. You can make the process smoother and more rewarding. And remember, nobody wants your stuff, but that's okay. It's time to create a space that reflects your new lifestyle. Thanks for checking out my video. I can't wait to see you next week.